Hello, dear friends. Internal metamorphosis brings about external transformation, and the financial restart is no exception to this rule. There are two waves, the visible downward and the invisible upward. Which one do you ride? Opinion piece. Mental reset. Push your button. Take a break. You have to know how to stop. Happen right now. It is happening right now. Look for the boredom. The restart is inside. Hit the pause button. Rest like cats. Crazy whack culture. The art of doing nothing. Being productive creates stress. We are coming home. It must happen inside first. Rising and falling tide. How to stabilize yourself. End times scenario. Transition produces instability. Solstice energy is very strong. Restart must happen within first. QFS is like an inner flower opening up. We need to awaken as many as possible. Evil cannot coexist in the higher realms. Transformation is in a change of consciousness. It's a change, Let's start. People have been talking a lot about a great financial restart for a long time. And that excites many because they feel they don't have enough. But the real restart is happening within every living being. That is what you are going to experience at this time. And that is why your three lower chakras needed all to work the work done for the entire month of June, according to the Arcturian Council 9D through Daniel Scranton. Now you are ready to reset your inner realm, your own frequency, your own energy. And that is what results in leveling the playing field in the physical realm. And that is what many people miss when they think of a restart of the currencies or the financial markets. The restart must first occur within the individual, and then they can experience it outside. So imagine yourself today focusing on hitting that restart button inside you and how it feels. Imagine having a fresh start without having to leave your body and return to a new one. For that is what change is all about. And remember that you are truly the creator of this reality that you experience, and as the source energy being that you are, you use the illusion to know yourself and grow exponentially. If you wish to play a different game, now is the time to press your own restart button and begin anew in all the ways you desire in this lifetime. This has never been more possible or likely than it is now. The great way. Now you have to decide which side of the fence you are on. You know that there is a fork in the road, that evil cannot coexist in the higher realms where we are going, for we are returning home. The great way is effortless for those who live in choiceless awareness. To choose without preference is to be clear. Even the slightest personal preference and your whole world splits. To perceive reality as it is to live with an open mind. The book of nothingness. The hardest thing of all is not to be lazy, but to learn to work relaxed and with detachment so as not to stress. A sense of humor helps a lot in a work environment to avoid tension. Take a Break by Celia Feng. After the intense waves of energy recently, things have slowed down and calmed down for a bit. It is time to rest and take a break as we head towards the June solstice on Tuesday, 21st June. This is a powerful annual portal signifying the change of seasons and the time of the longest day and shortest night in the north, and the shortest day and longest night in the south. It is the time when the planet pivots and begins its journey into the second half of the year and the new season. Most importantly, we must ensure that we are on the upward wave of energy towards higher frequencies and not on the downward wave towards collapse, chaos and confusion. The art of doing nothing. Wu Wei is a concept from Taoism that translates into no action. It is a principle that states that the best way to deal with a situation, especially if it is conflictive, is not to act, and rather than not acting, not to force any solution, but to let it flow. In quotes, from the emptiness of the wise comes stillness, from the stillness action, from action achievement. Sign it, Chuang Tzu. Wu Wei proposes a simple life because it is the one that most translates into peace and harmony. The simplicity implies not getting too attached to ambitions and desires, as they are the main sources of uneasiness and suffering. In this way, we avoid pain if one day we lack what we have become overly attached to. Therefore, it is not the material itself that is important, but our relationship of attachment to the object. We are immersed in a frenetic culture of busyness, a way of looking at life that drives us to feel endless to-do lists and spend all the time we have trying to complete them. The only attitude that seems to be seen as good is one that keeps us active, capable of multitasking, and people who stop, relax, deactivate are censored. Psychologists recommend hitting the pause button in our lives. It combats health problems related to stress and burnout. Do you find it hard to stop? Practice Nixon, the Dutch art of doing nothing. Trying to be productive all the time increases stress, worsens health, and makes us less efficient. Nixon is about hitting the pause button, taking a moment to step away from daily work and social commitments, and allowing ourselves to be idle, without the pressure of feelings of guilt or thoughts about all the things we should be doing. It sounds simple, but it is not. Can you imagine a world in which we stopped trying to be productive at every turn and spent our time on what really deserves it? Can you imagine if we rejected the idea of having to get everything done in order to, from time to time, do absolutely nothing? That is Nixon, the power of the pause, the seemingly contradictory response of the Dutch to problems, which is becoming a viral trend. The main dictionary of the Dutch language defines Nixon precisely as doing nothing, but far from being mere idleness or even appearing to be antisocial behavior, its advocates claim that Nixon is fundamental to maintaining good health. It has been explored as an effective method of combating work-related health problems such as stress and burnout, but the Italians discovered it before the Dutch with their poetic dolce far niente. That is precisely what cats do when they are lying in a comfortable place and can spend long hours without moving. The people who come closest to that beatific state of relaxation may be our elders, those pensioners who rest on a park bench for several hours without really doing anything, just watching their busy fellow citizens running around like crazy with frenetic activity. In a strange land, Steve Biko's advice: having committed myself to divine qualities, to such things as keeping the peace, I find myself in a strange territory, definitely beyond the frontier of my knowledge. In the meantime, I am complete with life and desire nothing more as long as this state of mind lasts, that simply to be with it. If we are dealing with a problem and bliss arose, we would have a realization. This process of self-awareness is the way forward to establish that breakthrough. A phrase in the rock opera of Jesus Christ Superstar stuck in my mind: try to calm and relax, which means exactly the same. Because life and creation always arise from nothingness, from deep relaxation, and that is why martial arts masters settle in their nothingness to achieve everything. Thousands of years ago, Gautama Buddha became famous as a wise master with a deep understanding of humankind's nature. He often compared the mind to a wild monkey, jumping from branch to branch, restless, distracted, and a little out of control. We will find greater peace and personal power, no matter what is happening around us, if we can focus our minds and hearts on messages of truth, encouragement, and hope. Quiet your mind and ignore your thoughts. Concentrate on your breathing and notice how it slows down as you go deeper into meditation. To open the heart with ease, concentrate on thinking of someone you love or a time in your life that was ecstatically wonderful for you. The heart should open and you should feel a rush of wonderful energy. How to find stability in changing times? Inner spirit working outwards in your life is the only place to find stability in these changing times. The truth is that there is an increase in the frequency of the earth. Because of this, people are experiencing a shift in consciousness that furthers their search for meaning in all they do, and universal consciousness is more readily available now than ever before to all who seek it. This increased energy is also creating great and rapid changes in the world around us. Within you is a place of such peace that you can totally relax there and allow it to permeate your being. Within you lies the truth, the joy and the meaning that you have sought in vain in the outer world. Come now and allow yourself to experience this inner peace place where you can be free just to be. It is as close as your breath, and it is with your breath and the power of your thoughts and imagination that you can begin to experience your higher self and your connection to the divine. When you feel a moment of deep peace, do not interrupt it and accept it as a divine gift. Solstice. Solstice impact by Dr. Xavi. Our planet is spinning and wobbling on its axis as it travels through the photon belt and also receives energy from our sun and the great central sun, which further activate the particular energy of the other planets in our solar system. humankind will gradually acclimatize to the higher and higher cosmic frequencies, which can be a challenge as the acclimatization process proceeds. Fatigue, dizziness, intestinal purging, headaches, lack of sufficient sleep, anxiety, heart palpitations are being reported by many around the world with increasing frequency. An energy shift is occurring that is affecting the physical body, the emotions, and the consciousness. The movement of energy is uncomfortable, but it is a necessary part of being updated and being able to receive higher awareness. These are energy flows. Also, as a reminder, the cosmic forces are most potent at any major cosmic event, such as the solstices. Relax and do not force any unnecessary outer activity, guided by the inner self. Eat light meals such as a soup or salad, juices or vegetable smoothies. Drink plenty of water with lemon. Perform the appropriate rituals according to your path, and allow the process of transformation to flow easily through your body. We are all being filled and refreshed with a source of light. Stability. How to Stabilize Yourself by Joseph Stevens. Humankind is now undergoing the greatest transition it has ever experienced in any other historical period. One of the major repercussions of the great transition that the humankind is undergoing at this time is destabilization. Right now, the humankind is going through puberty, moving from childhood through adolescence into adulthood. Anyone who has been around a stable adolescents may think they are regressing, but they are not. The transition to adulthood can be very difficult, and that's where we are, squeezed into a 50-year period. We are not only evolving in terms of scientific, technological, and economic achievements, but also in terms of spirituality and consciousness. But we are not all evolving at the same pace, and this creates great polarization and conflict that threatens to tear our world apart. In fact, not all members of the humankind are evolving towards puberty at this time. Some are simply moving from infancy to childhood, some from childhood to the infant stage, and some are moving from adolescence to adulthood, and some are even moving from adulthood to a stage of mastery. Change always comes with destabilization. When you move from one part of town to another, or from one city to another one, there is a period of destabilization and adjustment. There is a period of time when you can't find any of your belongings because they are still in boxes, and you don't know where the shops are or the best routes to get anywhere. Your neighbors are different people, and there are many things to get used to. Your awareness of your own presence, your awareness of your own being, your own consciousness is the only thing that is ultimately stable. Why? Because by definition, it never changes. It is always there, present and witnessing your life as it is. Reset news. We are in the midst of 13 days of mass arrests until Friday 1st of July. There have been multiple resignations of White House and administrative staff. The DAC team, as we know, will continue to DAC deeds until another one is not possible. It's not just about money and registration and control. It's about rights for them. If the Galactics had not neutralized the depleted uranium, this planet would have died, according to Steve Biko. "Let's make noise," says Soshi Hersku, in quotes. "We live in historic times of great transformation. We need to awaken as many people as possible. You are important for this massive awakening of humankind." The pyramid structure of the world elite has become dysfunctional. It created class separation and fostered the belief in scarcity. New system. The new quantum financial system has been online for months, affects 206 countries, and is hosted on a protected quantum server, which cannot be hacked or accessed without permission. I mean online in the secondary bank, not in the primary bank. Oil-backed notes are being changed to rainbow treasury notes. According to Bruce, on Monday, 20 June, there was a large undercover operation in which individuals attempted to exchange their Vietnamese dongs in 3 US cities and 3 in Switzerland, resulting in 3,150 arrests. Half of the world's people now had gold backing in their currency and in the QFS system, including the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and 12 other nations, including Saudi Arabia, according to Bruce. Exercise African Lion 22 will be conducted in four countries, Morocco, Ghana, Senegal, and Tunisia. The militaries of Brazil, Chad, France, Italy, and the Netherlands and the UK will join US and host nation troops. Russia has already perfected free energy towers. Problems. We are in the middle of the storm, the biggest operation of our time. Texas could vote to secede from the Union in 2023. Arkansas, Wisconsin, and Texas have overturned the 2020 election certification. Donald Trump files civil suit against the dark side. JP Morgan lays off hundreds in the mortgage business. Israel's government has collapsed. No prime minister. New election to be held in September or October. Speculation mounts that the Pope is about to resign, as Francis delays his trip to Africa and announces an unusual meeting of cardinals. Most people think things will be back to normal soon, but the elite have a different plan. Leo Zagami joined Alex Jones live on Skype to expose the possible resignation of Pope Francis and how the appointment of a new Pope will converge with the crisis in Eastern Europe in an end times scenario. Fulford has said Zagami is a self-described Satanist leader, in quotes. The biggest battle was an attack on the underground base complex near Palm Springs, California. This is where Leo Zagami fled to avoid arrest in Italy. Inflation continues to rise in the UK and reaches 9.1% in May, the highest in 40 years, and no end in sight as producer prices signal further pressure. Sri Lanka's economy has collapsed, according to its Prime Minister. The Bank of Japan spends $81 billion to avert collapse, but the market's broken. Several provinces in China are submerged underwater. Record flooding in Guizhou. Millions stranded as floods hit Bangladesh. Supply crisis. The cost of food rises 11.9%. The price of eggs rises 32.2%. And energy rises 34.6%. Farmers issue a dire warning about what will happen in the coming months. The Attorney General intervenes after Bill Gates buys a remarkable amount of farmland in North Dakota. Lithuania extends the blockade of Kaliningrad now to include road traffic. If Russia ever wakes up, things will go badly for the West, writes Paul Craig Roberts. You have 83 days left to prepare. It looks like this year's fertilizers shortages and grain embargoes are going to send our planet into freefall around September 2022. There simply isn't enough grain to meet futures contracts this fall. Stock up now. The White Hat Alliance is taking security measures. They will bring out the food hidden in the tunnels to meet the needs of the population. They found hidden food that could feed the world for the next 150 years. Metaverse. A study reveals a huge divide between the media and the public according to Thursday Live. The propaganda dilemma masks the sudden shift from victory to defeat. In quotes, you can influence 1,000 humankind by appealing to their prejudices faster than you can convince one citizen through logic, in quotes, according to Sister Sierra. Are we doomed to live in a totalitarian digital prison? Asks Charles Eisenstein. Since humankind's archaic divergence from other hominids, our tool and symbol systems have developed at an accelerating pace. We rely less and less on the physical capacity of our bodies and increasingly operate in the realm of information with data, words, numbers and bits. Emergency. If the ECB had not held an emergency meeting last Thursday, most market participants wouldn't have realized that there was an emergency in the bond market. Apparently, the sharp rise in the Italian bond yields after the ECB stopped buying them would be an emergency. The level of debt has become the emergency. Christian Terchers, MAP. In quotes, Ursula von der Leyen is responsible for the rise in food and energy prices. Her plan to combat carbon dioxide emissions would lead to higher taxes, higher prices and increased poverty in Europe. The purpose of the Green Certificate was to impose a digital tyranny. We were elected to the European Parliament to pass laws for citizens, not against them. Close quotes. Full speed ahead by Goldilocks. The race to connect virtual assets to the banking sector is at full speed today. Many of these connections around the world are subsidizing each asset with some form of commodity or other commodity-backed digital asset. No asset is left alone. They are all interconnected and woven into a larger framework fed by the commodity market. A number of updates are still being made to the QFS. It is like a flower opening in the morning sun. When the dust settles, you will see a leveling process in the digital markets. This will take care of the elite and the new digital banking system. And then we will watch for the next steps that lead the people. Golden Lock. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.